Are we live? We're live. Hey, y'all. It's been so long. If you're new here, my name is Chanel Rose. And if you can see, it does say, hold on, let me get this banner on up out of here. It's been so long since I've gone live that I had my last banner up. All right, now that I'm focused, my name is Chanel Rose, and my name on here is Chanel Revenue Rose. And it's so fitting because what I do for businesses is help them grow their revenue. I have been on the revenue generating side of businesses my entire career. I love it. I love cold calling. I love small talk. I like events. Actually, I think I love events. I love networking. I'm that person who you can always call if you want to yap. I have developed the art behind the science of helping you get money, create communities of people who want to buy from you, and just over and over again, help founders and business owners feel really good about the work that they're doing. And so today, I wanted to open up the conversation about how people are scaling intelligently, with ease, and without the friction of what I hear a lot of when I go to sales calls is, how do I phrase this appropriately? They don't want to break what's already working to try to get something new to work. And that's an important fear, but I would like to just say out loud that rarely ever happens. Here's why. You already know how what works. And so you're not going to sign up for something that is going to undo what's already working. And whereas, like, I would say even 5 years ago, the ability to get data, make decisions based on that data, or gather information about what your client needs, what your customer needs, what your funders are looking for, you learn pretty quickly. Like, data, information, resources are out there, and it doesn't take long for you to start to see the signs of what may be undoing what's already been done. So that first fear, let me let you know, in 2025, it rarely ever happens because it doesn't take an expert anymore to take the temperature. That's the easiest way to put it. I think that before, you'd have this chief technology officer. They were the only person who would see the data. They were the only person responsible for that. And they would work with an analyst, and they would come together and create these very complicated systems. And you and them would have a mile of difference between your understanding and their understanding. And then every now and then you chart your way together, and it would just take so much time. But now the way we communicate, the way we make decisions is so much simpler and also so much more accessible. So do not lean into the fear of doing something that's going to undo what's already working. And I, today, for the first time in a very long time, am going to use something that I know works. I'm going to pull out my handy dandy notes, and I'm going to have a conversation with you all about what it means to scale. And I think already, let me head back over to StreamYard. Do we have a comment? Hey, Star, how you doing? I appreciate you for supporting me. So in accordance with my notes, because I am doing a much better job, I get excited, okay? And so when I get excited, I just sit up in my seat. You already saw I was leaning back, and now I'm leaned in because I'm like, yes, let's talk about the revenue. Let's talk about growth. Let's talk about strategically making decisions to advance your business, and specifically why Q2 was so important. Q1, I always say, is like the layering of the foundation. A lot of companies are excited about their growth and specifically with revenue for some reason. They get that Q1 money, they get to Q2, and they're like, oh, we got money in Q1. And then Q3 comes, and they're like, we got to make it to the end of the year. And there's this frantic panic with people who don't always, I'm just going to say it. People get lazy, they get comfortable, and they stop selling. Or they get a lot of rejection, and they hide. And we just can't afford that in 2025. So I would like for you to know that we are going to break down what's actually working to grow revenue in Q2 without hiring a full-blown team and or blowing your budget. Because in addition to scaling, people always say things like, well, I don't know if I want to spend this money over here, and I can spend this money over there. But The reality is that as a business owner, you spend money to make money every single day. Okay. If you have a staff, you spend money on your staff to make money in your business. There's no version of owning a successful business that allows you to spend no money. Doesn't allow you to take risk with spending that money. Success is literally accepting risk, mitigating loss all day, every day. Okay. So here's something that I would say are the 3 revenue fixes that are actually working right now. Centralized revenue ownership. One more time, a little bit slower. Centralized revenue ownership. Okay. That also is a chief revenue officer. Shameless plug. Why would you, as a small business, hire either a fractional or a full-time person who only focuses on revenue, right? But startups are bringing in fractional execs to actually own the pipeline and not just plug in tools. So you're a founder and you have to focus on showing up at these events, having the exact same conversation 10 to 15 times a day. That is money making activity. But because you spend so much time doing that, it's very hard to focus on the revenue. And oftentimes what happens is it either goes one or 2 ways. Most of the time, it goes the second way. The first way, the best way, the way we all hope for is that because you're so focused on the MMA, the money making activity, it goes like this. Most of the time, though, it hopefully will go at minimum like this. So that's supposed to be a straight line. A lot of times, though, it goes like this because you're so focused on funders and that you forget that there's a revenue generating strategy and you need somebody to hold you accountable. So instead of you having to focus on a pipeline, right? So if you're even B2C, B2B, or B2G, you need somebody who's going to own that part so you can be the owner of the business. Fractional execs make all the difference in your business. So fractional chief revenue officers, fractional directors of operations, fractional chief marketing officers, fractional executives say, hey, this is mine. You do that, I do this. We have nothing to worry about. It's a strategic partnership that gets you to your goal. It takes off your plate and it just creates success. And remember, we talked about data. It gives you data that you can make decisions with, okay? Smarter automations that support, not replace, okay? We're seeing real wins in AI, but only when it simplifies the process, not complicates it, right? So a lot of times people will use systems that make it difficult to do business. I am not here to shame any products. I am going to give you an example. So there's a very, very, very popular system out here that people use for email. Okay. This system is great. It works. It literally does everything they say it will do. The problem is that it's because it's so fragmented that every single box has to be checked. And because it is the way it is, you cannot change it. So even if you duplicate it, you can only copy it like you would on a copy machine. In 2025, you should be able to copy it, uncheck, check some boxes, add in some intermediary steps. It doesn't do that, right? So this system that is extremely popular is a dated model. But because of, we're going to use it, it's an email system. Because email is what it is, people don't move email systems because you have to get people to re-opt in. And there's all this fear of like spam, blah, 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 right? But I have gotten people to leave this system because I say, if you want to run a sales campaign, what should take a team, let's just call it at the most a week, is taking you weeks because you have to start over from scratch every single time. So then I said, let's switch to this other program. It's a low lift, okay? All you basically have to do is upload your emails. You can upload them all at once and you park them where you want them to go. You can add in your intermediary steps and it's easy, it's plain language. And so the immediate win was what normally would take weeks, took them a couple of days, right? So there are some examples where systems have automations because after you build it from scratch, it's like the IKEA of furniture, right? Child, just give me Ashley. Was it Ashley furniture? Just give it to me. I don't. And there are people who inherently love the IKEA model, but if you are a small, mid-sized firm, if you are a founder, you don't need the IKEA version of systems. You need the Ashley Furniture. Who else sells furniture? I don't know. Insert your favorite Restoration Hardware, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, wherever you get your furniture from. You need that version. You need to point, click, pick, deliver, right? You don't need to pick from an unlimited amount of choices, wait a bunch of weeks for shipping, get it, and spend hours trying to understand what's happening. The systems that are working are the ones that have refined the process and realized that while all of that customization used to be really important, people don't want that. People don't want to see that on their screen. Their eyes just gloss over. And the third thing is that the founders that are growing the fastest, that will grow the fastest in this quarter, they've stopped chasing platforms and started building lean, measurable systems. One more time. They've stopped chasing platforms and they started building lean, measurable systems. What do I mean? Okay. So there's a word that we use that's really popular, funnels, right? No shade to the funnels. Nobody beat me up, right? Well, you can't. Just so we clear. Just kidding, guys. You want a customer journey. And whenever I tell people, okay, the funnel thing makes sense, write it down. Start it like with a timeline from the first time a person is introduced into your company all the way through when they become offboarded, right? Or they become cold. Write down every time that happens. And people are like, no wonder we're not making any money. There's no real way to manage this. There's no real way to do this in a way that we can confidently make decisions, that we can lead with authority. It's too cumbersome, right? And so what we have found that works the best is sign up to be an authority. Sign up to make it easy. A fine example of this is I have a client who was on all of them: Snapchat, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I feel like I'm missing something. Pinterest, like on every platform. And they will post the exact same post on every platform. Okay? That doesn't work. What people want on TikTok, they don't want on Instagram. What people want on Instagram, they don't really want on Facebook. And Lord, we don't want you bringing that over here to LinkedIn, right? And that's not to say that what they all have in common is short form video. It's not that people don't want short form video. It's that how it shows up look differently. So what we do is we build sustainable, measurable systems so that we can say we perform better on LinkedIn with long form video. We perform better on LinkedIn with short form video. We actually do the best when we do 30-minute scheduled events at least a month in advance, right? Because we get the data and we get the proof that these things work. So systems that are clear are going to beat every single piece of technology that you have, because we are able to support every decision we make with real-time results. Remember at the beginning, I said it used to take a long time to make sure you were doing the right thing. It doesn't take that long. What used to take you 6 months to a year to decide if it worked can take you 90 days. And that ability to fail fast is so important, because I think that the biggest fear is not failure. It's failing for a long time and feeling like you have to go back and correct it, or you lost time and revenue. Okay. Now, I did not coin this, but there's a 3-step process that we use: audit, align, activate. Okay. So I was working with one of our clients, and what we saw for them was 2 really key things, and this happens quite often, that the client lifetime value was really capping itself at about 20 or 30%. What that means is, for everyday terms, you go to the doctor, you get a checkup, that's it. But let's say you're approaching 80, and when you're 80, you need to get a monthly checkup. I'm making this up, y'all. Don't quote me. And what would happen is that nobody was telling that 80-year-old you need to come every month, or they would tell them at the appointment there was no follow-up. Or in this perfect example, they were sending the 80-year-old text messages who doesn't ever know where their phone is. So you have to call them on the phone, or they're emailing them, right? So what we found was that if we just hired somebody who came in 1 or 2 hours a day and told people what they needed to do and set up their appointments, that lifetime value exponentially increased. On the flip side, what we found was that the people who were under 50 were still getting that phone call. They weren't answering the phone. They weren't calling back. They were not booking calls. We implemented a text strategy. And so without ads, without frustration and friction, we just said, listen, you are not even maxing out, right? Somebody gets married, right? Immediately, if they decide to have a family, following up with them to see, Oh, you're planning to have a family? Let me recommend you to this new doctor. The reality is that as a business owner, you should never let somebody get more than one person away from you. Meaning that, like, if you're a doctor and somebody has a baby and you're a brain surgeon, you should recommend them to an OBGYN. If you're an OBGYN and they have young kids get bumps and bruises, recommend them to a pediatrician, right? No one in your business should ever get more than one person away from you. You should keep everybody who you do business with in your own economy. And that's how not only were we able to then create a referral system, we maxed out on their client lifetime value. So they start very quickly wins without ever having to do more because we bought them back their time. Remember, we talked about those systems in this very uncomplicated, easy to track, easy to measure. And then we had real-time data to say, like, yeah, when we stopped texting the 80-year-olds, which is a real thing, then we figured out that they would actually come back in. And we were able to fix some gaps in our budget. And we were able to forecast future money without having to always chase through clients. We are an agency that manages pipelines. So we do absolutely care about new money. But sometimes new money doesn't mean new customer. Sometimes new money means maxing out on their value. So I will leave you here with this. We do revenue deep dives for founders, SaaS companies, as you can see, medical practices, law firms. We dig in deep to help you figure out if you are maxing out the current tools you do have, if you are over leveraging talent or underutilizing talent, and also where are the pressure points that could be powder kegs in your revenue systems, in your revenue pipeline, on your revenue team, right? Like somebody might be getting ready to quit and they might be a key player. And so how do we mitigate that risk or hedge it off? Because we love when people level up, but maybe there needs to be a plan and a process in place for succession. That is something that nobody talks about in revenue. What's the succession plan? If this person quits, then what happens? So often businesses don't have that fully articulated or planned. So I've opened up a few one-on-one revenue deep dive sessions this month. If you want to see what's blocking your growth and prioritize that first, and hopefully then assign a pipeline owner, a revenue owner, then drop deep dive in the comments or message me after this live. I would love to have a conversation to see if we're a good fit, because what I know to be true is that Q2 is so important for every business. People are spending money and excited about spending money to make more money. Everybody wants to have a good holiday season, okay? Your good holiday season starts in April. It don't start in November, okay? That Black Friday extravaganza is planned out today. That big event that you want to have to get VCs in the room next January, you should be planning for it today. So drop one. Actually, I'm like, just drop one in the comments and I will send you the link on how to book with us so you can have that revenue deep dive. You guys, it's been an absolute pleasure and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, we have comments. Wait, we weren't leaving. Lean measurable systems. Come on now. Thank you, Star. And you said yours froze. Oh no. Well, hopefully folks were able to listen and enjoy. So I'm going to hop off. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.